Hi, everybody. Welcome to. Thank you. I'm glad you like that.
Love that. Love that.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to SeahawkTalk. Today, we're joined with Payo Time. He's a Rams YouTuber, and super nice of him to join us today.
Thanks for having me.
First, I want to kind of ask, I guess I kind of saw you talking with Ryan on No Border Sports,
Yeah.
like how you became a Rams fan living in Canada. I just thought that was kind of weird. Like, you chose the Rams, but
Yeah, no, and like I think I told him, like, I came from a family that was like, you go to church on Sunday morning and then you come home and just watch 9 hours of football together. And when I was a little kid, little Peo, in 1999, the Rams had like the Kurt Warner story going off. They were a super fun team to watch. Like, they were Madden comes to life, like the greatest show on turf offense.
yeah,
And
exactly.
and like Marshall Faulk, Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Ricky Pearl, Orlando Pace, like it was a team that just like really fun. Like, they do trick plays that you try in like backyard football games and things like that. And so then when they won the Super Bowl, that was what like cemented my fandom. And so, yeah, I just that's how I became a Rams fan. And my brother was like, hey, when if you pick a team, they're your team for life, no bandwagoning. And I'm like, all right, the Rams are my team. And I've been with them with the highs, and I've been through the lows and everything in between. And yeah, it's been a Rams roller coaster. Hey, Eric's here.
Yeah, hey Eric, how's it going? Thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I actually really respect that because there's so many bandwagon Seahawks fans out there.
Yeah.
We call them the 12 since 12. So,
Yeah. Every fandom has them, right?
yeah, exactly. I'm sure you guys. Sorry about that. That's my dogs.
Oh, no worries.
But anyways, yeah. Do you want to just get into it, or
Let's do it.
what do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about free agency, I guess, losses and gains, or do you want to talk about we do Pete Carroll and Sean McVay similarities, or Geno Smith and that stuff?
You know what? I have a take on the Seahawks, and I want to hear your opinion. Okay. And for anyone out there who's a Seahawks fan, just hear me out, okay? I'm not saying this to hate on the Seahawks, okay? But is there concerns, okay? Is there concerns that maybe the Seahawks overachieved a little bit this year? And don't get me wrong, it is super impressive what they did, because I think even Seahawks fans thought they'd be like the worst team in the NFL.
I was thinking like 6-7 wins max. I wasn't thinking, go to the playoffs.
Well, the playoffs, right? And so, like, but when you look at the Seahawks season and how they ended it, I wouldn't say they ended on a high note, like, and not just like the playoffs, but like the latter part of the season too. Is there any concern? Now, I know they have some draft capital, and they can make some moves that way. They extended Geno, but is there any concern that like maybe that overachievement is going to set up some false expectations next year?
I don't think so, just because we're so young. I think what happened with the second half of the season is we had so many rookies on the team that's about when their season ended their whole entire life, right?
Mm-hmm.
They've never played football in December, really. So, I mean, I wish it was the opposite. I wish we would have started out slow and finished strong. But I don't know. Personally, I don't think it was kind of a fluke the first part of the season. I just think players got tired, especially when you're starting. We had 2 rookie tackles. We were the first team in God, I think it was like 8 years to do that. And the last team was like the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, we really overhauled the team.
Yeah.
And we did it a pretty crazy way. I mean, with how many young people we did it with, But yeah, no, I think we should be about a 10-11 team, or a 10-11 win team next year. I hope so, at least. I think floor probably 9 wins again.
Okay, cool. That's my only like kind of big criticism of the Seahawks. I think they're doing a lot of things right. Clearly, they won the breakup with Russell Wilson at this point.
To be determined at this point. Yeah.
At this point, they're looking pretty good, and
I don't like to say that stuff out loud because I'm superstitious.
Okay, so, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, obviously the first season we came out on top. I mean, we got the 5th overall pick, and what more can we ask? And then we got their 2nd round pick too, so that's the 37th overall pick.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy.
Also, shout out to Naren and Remelia Sports Report in the chat.
Oh, are those your guys?
Yeah, they're great. They're great. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the first thing is, can Gino do it again?
Yeah.
Because we've only seen him do it one time, which, I mean, I have a lot of faith in him, not just because of how he played, but how he handles himself as a professional compared to, we had to deal with all the dumb cliches for like 10 years, and they just slowly got worse and worse and worse. And then the national media finally saw it. Nobody ever saw it, right? And then that big trade happens, and he's a celebrity now.
Yeah.
Everybody finally saw it.
No kidding.
They didn't pay the idea.
Yeah.
To really big contracts on defense.
Yeah, no, I think most Ram fans are hoping to have, a year like the Seahawks where we're like, oh, we're doing better than we thought we were, right? Because definitely, the Rams are, I've heard it called a retooling, a reloading, a rebuilding, a remodeling, or whatever. I just say it's a Rams build, and we're doing things a little bit different, eating some dead cap, and clearly the Rams, they want to. They want to overhaul their offense and start putting some points on the board.
Yeah, Pete does that every year. He's like, there's been like 3 or 4 times since he's been the coach. Oh no, we're not rebuilding. We're retooling. We're reloading. They will not use the term rebuild. And I mean, it turned out great for us. Like I said, this year, I mean, the fact that we got first rounded by the 49ers kind of sucked. Everybody knew it was going to happen. But just the fact that we got there really, it's a lot better to say you're a playoff team than, they won 8 games.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wanted to ask, like you said, Geno Smith versus Matt Stafford. I just wrote some notes down on like first thing that comes to mind, I guess, when I think comparing the two. I wrote Geno Smith, can he do it again? Matt Stafford, can he stay healthy? And then for the pros, I wrote Geno had one great season. And Matt Stafford, he always kind of like dominates the stats, but part of me thinks that, I mean, he won a Super Bowl. It's kind of hard for me to say stuff like this now. But part of me,
he shut up a lot of haters after that Super Bowl.
And I was one of them. I was thinking, oh my God, this is so dumb, because a lot of players, when they did what the Rams did, I mean, the Rams were really in it for that 1 to 2 years, right? A lot of people don't have a ring to show for it.
Yep.
And I respect the Rams for that.
Totally.
They actually accomplished something that it usually doesn't work. I mean, remember the Dream Team Eagles in 2011? Yeah. That's kind of what I compare it to, but the Rams actually did it. They actually went out there and played. But no, I wrote he has great stats. Geno's going to have a 10 million cap hit this year. Matt Stafford is going to have 20 million. This is Geno's first big contract. He's literally never had one. He's 32 years old.
Yeah.
This is Matt Stafford's. He's 35. And then the only like major problem I have with Stafford compared to Geno Smith, and I guess it wouldn't be a huge problem, is he almost like tries to force the ball a little too much, especially during the last part of their Super Bowl winning season. It seemed like he was throwing picks like every week.
Yeah.
And Geno's kind of more safe, but then again, that could be a problem too.
See, I'll be honest with you. So last year in the Rams Super Bowl run, I actually got to a point where picks didn't bother me as much as they used to. Where like the reality is picks happen. Mm-hmm. The problem is if you don't have an offense that has a strong margin of error, right? And in the 2021 season, the Rams' margin of error on offense was high, right? Stafford could throw a pick six and it's like, oh, you know what? We're going to get the ball back, go down the field and score, right? People highlight, he led the league in interceptions, but he also, I think it was like top 3 in touchdown passes. He had like 42 on the season. So
Yeah, I
like
think so.
if you're like if you're constantly throwing picks, then absolutely that's infuriating, right? But if you have the the capacity as a quarterback and as an offense as a whole to overcome those margins of error, picks don't bother me as much as they do some people. So like, you know what? If Matt Stafford is going to lead the league in interceptions every year, I'm okay with it as long as he's throwing way more touchdowns than he is picks, right?
As long as it's not Jameis Winston, 30
Yeah,
and
30
30.
for 30, yeah.
That was awesome. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, he won a Super Bowl. So I mean, what more can you can't really talk bad about that trade. I mean, the only negative is they missed out on the 6th overall pick this year. But I can guarantee if you were to give me an option between a Super Bowl and the 6th overall pick, 10 times out of 10, you know which one I'm
Totally. The Super Bowl shine has not worn off. I had a subscriber gift me this little bad boy here.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
A replica.
it's a replica of the ring. Yeah,
Oh, I forgot they did that. The real ones do that too, right?
yeah. It's the like field of SoFi, and like the ring is modeled after SoFi Stadium, and it's just like, yeah,
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I was one of those people that was like, "Oh, no way, this is gonna work," and then it did. But I guess we almost got to ask, like, I've watched some of your videos, and I know you said they're not blowing it up and they're not doing that, but then the Ramsey trade happens, and was that just to free up cap, and they thought he was declining, or?
So here's what it is. You can totally say the Rams are blowing up their defense. That's totally valid. But yeah, they're clearing cap, which today they actually just announced that they restructured Joseph Noteboom. So the Rams are under the cap for which they needed to be by tomorrow, like by
4:00.
And I think that when you actually look at it, the Rams making the moves with Wagner, Floyd, and Ramsey, and hopefully Allen Robinson. But if we make the Allen Robinson move, including those 3 others, next year in 2024, we're going to have $80 million in cap space.
Yeah, which obviously you won't, because you want to sign some players by then. But
no, I'm just saying that like they're putting themselves in a position for almost like a pretty quick swing, like turnaround. And the other thing that no one talks about is the Rams need a good draft, right? They have 11 draft picks right now. If they get something for Allen Robinson, they might, pick up a 12th. And though they don't have a first round pick, they do have a lot of draft capital. The Rams have hit on some late round picks in the Les Snead and Sean McVay era. And so I'm optimistic that the Rams can be competitive next year. I don't know if they're going to be Super Bowl contending, but I don't believe they're going to be, one of the worst teams in the league like some people are predicting. I still believe in Stafford. I still believe in Cooper Kupp. Obviously, the question mark of health is there for both of them for sure. But I still believe in Aaron Donald. I still believe and if we have an offense that can put up points, and we have to rely on Aaron Donald to make a big play late in the game, I'm okay with that as a game plan.
That's the guy you want to rely on to make a big stop, Yeah. So jealous of that. So jealous of Aaron Donald.
I do see here, Joe, that Rudy asked you a question there in the chat.
What's up? I don't see it.
He said, how big of a loss is running back Rashard Penny and linebacker Cody Barton?
Barton, it varies on which Seahawks fan you actually ask, because a lot of us like to blame our whole running game problem on Barton, because there were some games where he showed up and he was like, oh my God, this guy's a monster. There was like 3 or 4 games last season where I'm like, yeah, this guy made the next step. But then there'd be games where it's just arm tackle, broken tackle, being the last guy on the pile, one of those guys, and getting an assisted tackle.
Yeah.
But who was the other one? Oh, Penny. Penny was one of our biggest busts we've had, but it's not his fault. It's not Pete's fault. He had like some serious injuries.
Yeah.
Not like soft tissue injuries. I mean, like legitimately, like broken legs, torn ACLs. But when he was healthy, I mean, he averaged like, oh God, I think it was like 6.3 yards a carry last season.
Oh man.
I mean, he's a good running back, and I'm rooting for him. I want him to be healthy because, he has the talent. Just if he can stay healthy, he's a pretty dang good running back. They gave him $5 million, I think, right? It was just a 1-year deal. So
I'll tell you this: the player on the Seahawks that actually makes me the most nervous is Tyler Lockett as a Ram.
Yeah, no, I think he has for a while, right?
And well, here's my thing, and I say this as a football fan, not a Rams fan. Tyler Lockett is one of the few players that, so if it's, if your offense has maybe been struggling in the game or things like that, and Tyler Lockett converts a third down versus DK Metcalf converts a third down, it's different. When Lockett does it, the whole offense just decide that they're going to play super well, that they just get like a supercharge, right? And DK, good player, and all the other Seattle receivers, things like that. But there's something different when Tyler Lockett specifically converts a big play, and it's something I've noticed the past like 2 seasons that man, if Lockett gets going, the Seahawks are actually a very scary offense.
Yeah, and he's tiny too. He doesn't look the part. Like DK, you look at him and you're like, oh my God, that guy's a monster, right? And then Tyler, I think his best catch of all time was against you guys. It's when you guys missed that last second field goal here in Seattle. Do you remember that? It's Russell floated the ball and it looked like he was throwing it out of bounds. And Tyler Lockett just somehow comes down with it.
What year was this?
I want to say it was 2018 or 19.
Okay, well, I must have been crying, so
It was. We wore our green jerseys that day. I do remember that.
Okay.
Our puke green jerseys.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah. See, Rudy agrees with me. Vermelia Sports Report. He says Lockett is a pain. Yeah. Always gets.
Yeah, he is. He always gets open. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the quickest guy, but he runs great routes and he has great hands. Which is, he's what 5'10", and he's always open. So, but yeah, no, I'm sorry I got off track for a second.
No, it's cool, man. No. It was Rudy. Remember, it's 2019. Thanks, Rudy.
But yeah, you guys. I mean, you guys don't have a first round pick, but you guys have number 36, which is basically a first round pick, right? Because I mean, you're used to drafting pretty late in the first round, anyways. It's no different.
First round picks are overrated, anyway.
This is actually the highest first round pick we've had since 2009.
Wow. Well, yeah, that the Seahawks have been good for a long time, right? And Russell Wilson, for a long time he was one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, and looks like the Seahawks knew to move on from him at the right time.
Well, I think it actually started the year before he started that, the chirp, and that, he gave out 4 teams that he'd want to be traded to.
Right.
People in Denver are finally realizing, dealing with his agent, it's a pain in the butt every 4 years. I mean, just there's so much celebrity that comes with it.
I'm curious to you, could you give that perspective with, and I know we didn't say we were going to talk about Russ, but if as an outsider, and I didn't follow the Seahawks nearly as close as you did all these years, but did you notice just a change in attitude somewhere along the line? I know that a lot of people credit when he married Sierra that was the change, but that's it.
That's about when things change, because he turned from this, aw shucks, no person. And I think that's a problem, is he's never had a personality. And then he's with somebody that has a huge personality telling you, you're the best, this is how you should act. And he just does everything that everybody else tells him to do. Well, he has the wrong people telling him what to do. As a guy from afar. Yeah.
Totally. No, it's about, a valuable perspective, because I definitely think if you compare Russell Wilson 2014, 2015, 2016, like it's very different than like Russell Wilson 2018 to present.
Well, if you just even look at the way he dresses, I mean, I'm not a fashion guy, but I mean, it was just totally different.
Yeah.
But that's why it's so nice having Gino now. It's such a change. Gino in his press conference when he got paid, which I mean, he barely got paid anything.
Yeah.
Once you look at the contract, I mean,
good contract for the Seahawks, very team friendly.
Yeah, they can cut him after this year and basically owe him nothing. But they always ask him, how about your struggles? What were your struggles? And he goes, man, I was making really good money playing professional football with the greatest players in the world. You guys are acting like I was homeless or something.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Gino. I mean, he's actually I don't know. He's just such a down-to-earth guy compared to what we were dealing with the last, especially 5 years.
Yeah.
So, but my favorite thing about Russ was he usually lost to us, but he beat the 49ers. That is so true. There's a pecking order in the NFC between the three of us. So it's like you guys own us, we own the 49ers, the 49ers own you guys, and it's so weird how it works.
The Cardinals are off.
The Cardinals are weird. They're either good or they're bad. They're like never really in between.
Yeah. Hey, do you know you can put the comments on screen, right?
Oh no, I actually don't. I'm sorry.
Oh, cool. There you go.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'd always beat the 49ers. So, but yeah, one other thing is you asked Pete Carroll versus
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay, right? And all I can say is the only thing they have in common is they win a lot of football games.
Yeah.
Sean McVay is 37, offensive coach. Pete Carroll, 71, defensive coach. In 2 years, he'll be the oldest coach in the NFL, and I don't think he has. That's another thing. Is Sean McVay, how much longer is he going to be the Rams coach? That's a question I was going to ask you.
Yeah, so the past 2 years we've been dealing with is McVay gonna retire from coaching rumors, and he came back this year. Again, this is totally like speculative rumors, so I'm not sure.
I think most of the stuff with this topic is
like so much weight to it. A lot of the rumors, to my understanding, is that him retiring was actually a negotiation tactic to get more personnel control in his job. And so I do believe that he thought about it, but he doesn't want to leave on the way that he did last year. And he even just last week, he did say, he's like, I'm going to work hard so that this isn't going to be, a reoccurring story every offseason. I plan on being here for years to come. So I do believe that Sean McVay is going to be here at least until Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp retire. I don't see after the trade with Stafford and just the relationship he has with them, I don't think he's going to move on that quick. That's why I don't buy like the Stafford trade rumors or anything like that.
I don't buy those ones either. I was talking to a guy last night and he was like, I think Stafford's going to be traded, but personally, and this isn't me being an ass, I mean, I don't think many people would want to take on his contract, even if they did want to trade him.
That, and also like I think if the Rams traded him, I think it'd be like a $70 million dead cap hit.
Yeah, I was reading something like that.
So it's just like financially it makes no sense. I think the only thing is like if for some reason injury wise it forces Stafford to retire, but all reports that I've heard is that Stafford is recovering well. He's going to be ready. I think he's going to be healthier this year than he was last offseason. And so really only time will tell, when they get to OTAs and mini camps and we see him slinging the rock around. But he was at McVay's house for a Super Bowl party. And like, he was joking with McVay that like he wants to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl next year. And so, I have no problem with Matthew Stafford being our quarterback for the next couple of years. I am still a believer in him. Is he a perfect quarterback? No, that's hard to find. Is he a great quarterback? Yeah, he is. And I would take him over the majority of quarterbacks in the NFL still.
Yeah, there's only a few like top tier quarterbacks I'd take over him anyways. And they're the Mahomes, Allens. There's only a couple of them, Burrow, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then yeah, I was gonna say the difference between those two is Pete Carroll, he gets asked about leaving all the time, but it's only because of how old he is. And he's
very different reasons than Sean McVay.
Yeah, exactly. And the people ask him how old he goes, and he's like, "Oh, I don't disclose that information," but he doesn't seem, I mean, obviously one day age will catch up with you, but
the dude is in super good shape for like a 71-year-old.
Yeah, it's those greens. He's on that all green diet or whatever.
Oh, is that it? Oh.
I forget what it was. But yeah, I just wrote note. I mean, it's his third NFL team. This is only McVay's first NFL head coaching wise, obviously.
Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, they've both been to 2 NFC championships, 1 Super Bowl, one Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, just all around. They're both good coaches, and that's a lot of people don't take that. A lot of people take that for granted when they have a coach and they want him gone. And then, I mean, not to bring it to Russ again, but I mean, look at Nathaniel Hackett last year in Denver.
Way over his head, yeah.
And I mean, Kingsbury, I'm kind of sad he's gone because they just implode every year.
I love Cliff Kingsbury as the Cardinals head coach.
Yeah. But yeah, you want to get to sorry, I wrote everything down like a dweeb
that's awesome.
instead of having it all on my computer.
That's great notes. So I should probably start doing that.
But I had a few questions about the 49ers, some of the free agents they actually have. So you guys lost your kicker, right, to Indianapolis.
Yeah, Matt Gay. Oh.
And he was pretty good.
He was like one of the best kickers in the NFL. He just earned the biggest contract in NFL history for a kicker by the Colts, and he deserved it. Like I think over the past like 2 years, he only missed 4 field goals, and all of them were like 50 plus.
That's impressive. Yeah, I remember we had like a couple years with a bad kicker, and it's terrible. It's so overthought.
Oh yeah,
everybody overlooks it, is what I mean. And then you get a bad one, and you're like, "Oh my god, dude!"
It is the worst. Like, so we had Greg Zuerlein for a number of years, and he was great. And then I'll never forget, we had drafted a guy named Sam Sloman, and like it was terrible. And then he got cut like by week 4. We had like Forbath for a little bit. That was bad. And then we went through like 4 different kickers in 1 year, and until we finally got Matt Gay, who was literally on the street. Like, no, he wasn't on anyone's roster. And because he got cut by Tampa. So, but yeah, no, I'm very thankful for Matt Gay and what he did with the Rams. And he, like, people forget, like, in the Rams, like, if you look at their, all of their wins in the playoffs last year, and including the Super Bowl, were by one score field goal games. So, like, you need your kicker for that.
That's how a lot of those games are decided. The 2017 Seahawks, we had God, what was his name? Blair Walsh.
Oh yeah,
Blair Walsh. And we ended up finishing 9-7 because he missed like literally 3 or 4 game-winning field goals or game-time field goals. Would have been either 11-5 or 12-4, and they probably wouldn't have imploded the Legion of Boom because
that's crazy. Oh man,
yeah. But he's really the one I credit for destroying the Legion of Boom is Blair Walsh.
It was Blair Walsh's fault, yeah.
But no, I wanted to ask about Taylor Rapp. Do you guys not think you're going to get him back? Because I always thought Taylor Rapp was a stud. He played right here at UW too. So.
Oh, cool. So here's the thing. Taylor Rapp is one of the most controversial players in all of the Rams fandom.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There are times he plays extremely well. I don't know many Ram fans that would call him a stud. Because there's been some other like plays where he's blown coverages or he's missed a tackle. I would say like the strongest part of his game is in his tackling. Like he actually is a pretty good tackler, but every now and then he would make like kind of a mental error.
Yeah.
And so I don't believe the Rams will retain him. I think he's going to sign with someone else, and I personally am okay with that. His production, I wouldn't say is amazing for the Rams. We drafted a number of young cornerbacks and safeties last year that I think the Rams defense just wants to get cheaper and younger, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we did last year. Our run defense sucked, but we were either top 10 or 11th against the pass, and that's because we got so young. Those players, they lose a step. Taylor Rapp's obviously not old, but like Ramsey, he's going to start losing a step pretty soon. And we watched it happen with Sherman. It's like you go from all-star elite to, you're getting beat down the field and you're like, how is that happening? But, everybody ages. So,
well, and like I've said this for about a year and a half now that, if the Rams would have kept Ramsey, I wanted him to convert to safety for the later part of his career. And I think it would have done well for him. But that like, again, I'm not happy that he's gone. I don't like the trade compensation that we got for him. However, I do understand it. And again, like the cap saving this year isn't super significant, but the cap savings for 2024, 2025 are extremely significant. And if the Rams would have held on to him, there is the like the GM hat that has to think like, okay, like if I'm gonna pay this guy, $19 million a season, but I'm kind of locked into that, and if I trade him now, I can get a 3rd round pick. If I trade him next year, what am I gonna get, right?
I'll just miss him as a Ram because I liked watching him and DK go at it.
Yeah, those are some fun matchups. Yeah,
I mean it was fun to watch.
Yeah,
I mean,
so we'll look back like 5 years from now of like, man, those were some really fun wide receiver and cornerback matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it always seems in the NFC West, we're always overlooked by everybody because we're, East Coast bias is a thing, even though you're from the East Coast. But
I live on the East Coast and I know it's a thing.
I mean, the fact that Brian Daboll won Coach of the Year instead of
it's ridiculous.
There was a bunch of. I mean, Pete could have won Coach of the Year. Shanahan could have won Coach of the Year. I think as much as I don't like the Niners, I mean, I think Shanahan, he did that with a 3rd-string quarterback.
There's an argument. Yeah, I personally think Doug Peterson should have won it.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. And Jacksonville gets overlooked all the time too. Totally. But the fact that they gave like all the awards to both the New York teams or New Jersey teams, But I also wanted to ask you about Troy Hill. Seemed pretty good too whenever we played him, and he's going to be gone. You don't think you're going to retain him?
I think really just mainly because of the finances involved with it. I think Troy Hill's gonna go. Yeah, but Mark Bulger and Hasselback. Oh,
yeah, I remember that. So you guys are the only team to beat us at home in the playoffs. You did it twice. You did it in 2004 and you did it in 2020. But yeah, I remember Hasselbeck threw it to Ingram right in the back of the end zone. And he dropped it on like 4th down or the last play of the game. And it was like, dude, yeah, you guys beat us 3 times that year.
Wow.
But
I missed those days. Well,
it was fun
this year.
Pardon?
You swept us this year.
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen often. Even when we were kicking ass. I mean, when we had the Legion of Boom still playing you guys, I like dreaded playing you guys.
Well, and that was the thing. Like I remember like back in the Jeff Fisher era, and I supported Fisher longer than most Ram fans, but like I crossed my limit after like a year and a half. But it was always the one thing of like, well, the one thing Fisher can do is beat Seattle. Like,
yeah, he'll go 7-9 every year and beat the Seahawks twice.
Yeah,
Steven Jackson was a monster. There's always that one player on teams that you don't like, but you like really like that player, and that was, it was like Steven Jackson, Frank Gore, and Larry Fitzgerald in that era. So
definitely, yeah.
But
I miss.
So Troy Hill's not coming back. Sorry. And
That's
then
cool.
you guys have a punter that's a free agent too, I guess.
Yeah.
Was he your starting punter or?
Yeah. So Riley Dixon, he did all right. I don't think he was such a good punter that like we can't upgrade that position. He had a fake punt pass conversion, which was cool. And yeah, he definitely like because he was punting the ball a lot this year with the Rams.
Yeah.
So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if the Rams moved on from him. Or if they at least let him test free agency. And I do think that's what happened with Matt Gay. I think the Rams kind of knew Matt Gay was going to get big money. So they were just like, all right, we can't afford that money that you'll command on the open market. So go in peace. But yeah, I don't know about Dixon and how he'll do on the punter market.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch him punt a bunch, and I'm sorry to hear about your cousin, but sorry, at least he was a Seahawks fan, you know. But yeah, quarterback, you guys don't have a backup then? Or because Mayfield, John Wolford, and Bryce Perkins are all free agents?
They are. Okay, so this is a very interesting quarterback room this offseason because realistically, John Wolford, he didn't play that well last year, and also he struggled to stay healthy. Which, when you're a backup and you struggle to stay healthy, it's kind of tough to justify keeping him. So I don't think the Rams will keep Wolford. Bryce Perkins, he's an interesting because he does have a physicality to him and at times a pretty decent arm. I know Rudy loves Bryce Perkins. He calls him Bryce Smooth Perkins. And
this guy in the chat right now?
Yeah, his name's Rudy. Yeah, that's Remelia Sports Report.
Okay.
He's a good dude. If you ever want to collab with him, he's got his own channel. He's great.
Okay.
But yeah, like I think that
yeah, thank you, man. I really appreciate you coming in.
See Rudy. I really think that Bryce Perkins has a chance to stay on as a third string quarterback, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Rams move on from him either. I do think with all these cap moves the Rams are making, one of the things they want is a veteran backup quarterback for Stafford. I think they would love that to be Baker Mayfield, but they know that Mayfield's going to get some other opportunities to start, and I think Mayfield will.
Do you think he will, though?
Well, it sounds like the Bucs are going to give it to him.
Oh, is that what it was? I heard somebody was interested in him.
It sounds like the Bucs are interested, and it would make sense that the Bucs would do that. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting for sure to see the Rams quarterback room. A lot of Ram fans want the Rams to draft a quarterback to develop. So we'll see. We'll see. That's definitely one of the interesting storylines if you're a Rams fan this offseason.
If we cut Bryce, I could see the Seahawks signing him as a backup. I don't think so. I think we want a young, like a rookie quarterback to sit behind Geno for 1 year. I think that's what our plan is.
You think?
Yeah, and I hope it's not Anthony Richardson at number 5, just because it scares me. We never get to draft in the top 5, and especially if 3 quarterbacks go in front of us and we can either get Will Anderson or Jalen Carter sitting there, I want to go for it.
Well, like think that out. Like, the Panthers are going to take a QB. The Texans are likely going to take a quarterback. I could see someone trading up.
That's what I was.
The Cardinals for the one there to leapfrog the Colts.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it would be such a Raiders thing to jump up and pick Anthony Richardson right there, just because he's such a freak athlete. And, I think, Mark Davis has the same last name as his dad, right? So I think I could totally see that one happening.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, they did sign Jimmy G, but yeah, you're right. Like, I think they're primed to take a quarterback early as well, for sure.
Yeah, especially because Jimmy G's kind of a bridge guy, right? I could see. Hey, what's up, Trickster? Niner fan here. But yeah, I could see. Pardon. I could just see. My dream scenario is 4 quarterbacks go right in front of the Seahawks, and we're at number 5 with literally anybody we want.
Yeah,
as long as they're not a quarterback.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Very much play out, or even just like if I'm pretty sure 3 of the top 4 picks are going to be a quarterback, right? Like,
I hope so, and I don't want us to take the 4th one. I really don't, unless it's Stroud or Young, which those are going to go 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Unless the Panthers shock everybody and trade it up to get Anthony Richardson. I just think I like Hendon Hooker a lot out of Tennessee in like the 2nd or 3rd round. I don't know if you know much about him.
I heard the name. I haven't done a ton of draft exploration yet.
He actually won SEC Offensive Player of the Year, and he had an ACL in November. He was in the Heisman running and everything.
Oh, okay.
But so he's one of those guys that'd be perfect for like a team like the Seahawks or the Rams that have an older quarterback. They want a young guy to sit behind for a couple of years, and he's prototypical too. He's 6'3", like 215 pounds, has 10.5-inch hands. I mean, he looks the part too, and can sling it too, and he can run. So
okay. Thanks for putting him on my radar.
Yeah, sorry. I've been going on about Hendon Hooker for like the past month. So
that's cool. I love like doing mock drafts and like learning players that I maybe haven't learned that much about. Then like you look them up afterwards. And you're like, hey, I'd be okay if this guy was a Ram. Like,
actually, it happened last September. One of my friends texted me that I've been in fantasy football with, and he goes, dude, you need to see this guy Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. And then it just kind of stuck in my head, right? And then I watch him, and then he gets hurt. But I mean, especially it'd be perfect for a team that has a bridge quarterback that can let him sit behind for a year, especially because he's not going to be ready to play.
Yeah.
So, Oh, pardon.
There's one more question I actually had for you about the Seahawks and the draft is, do you see a scenario where at 5 the Seahawks actually look to trade out?
That was if Anderson or Carter isn't there, that would be my number one option.
Yeah.
If Will Anderson and Jalen Carter aren't there, say somebody, especially before the Panthers traded up, I could see someone like them or the Falcons or the Raiders actually trading up with us to get either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson.
Well, because I even think say 4 quarterbacks do go in the top 4, right? Like 4 for 4. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of teams that are like, hey, there's some top tier talent that's falling. Let's trade up with the Seahawks and get one of them, right? Like that's essentially as good as the first overall pick, as long as you're not picking a quarterback.
Yeah. What's up, soy sauce?
Hey, what's up, man? He's a Rams fan too.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, I just think I just wouldn't want to pass up if you have the option between Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. I don't know if I'd want to pass it up. I mean, would you, honestly, between the two of them?
I'd go Will Anderson. Yeah, like I think like unless you get a real haul of picks, maybe if I was in the Seahawks position as the Rams with their current roster, just because we are going to have some holes that we need to fill. But if you're in a team where you got most of your team together and you can get a playmaker like that, you got to go there.
And our problem is D-line. That's our number one need. D-line and center and right guard. Yeah. But you're not picking a guard or a center that early unless it's, Quentin Nelson.
Totally, yeah.
Wow. But, yeah, no, I think Will Anderson or Jalen Carter would be awesome. We just signed this guy, Draymond Jones, 3 years, $51 million from the Broncos in free agency.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Payo, I'm sorry for your losses, playoffs. Jeffs, do you expect to be in the playoffs this year?
Hey, Trickster, I'll say this is you never know. You never know. You just never know. I'm not ready to count the Rams out. I do think that we can improve from last season. I mean, dude, we had like we had like 14 different starting offensive linemen get injured. We like set a record for the most offensive linemen injured in one season. So I think total there were 22 offensive linemen that the Rams had played at one point in the season. Like, and that's just like, you're signing guys off the street, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was almost it was crazy. Baker Mayfield, how long did he practice with them before he actually?
So he had, like, when he signed with the Rams, he had like a walkthrough with them before the Thursday night game.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was a prime time. It was a Thursday night game, huh?
It was a Thursday night game. So like he had been with the team for less than 48 hours. And that was definitely one of the highlights of the season, where it's just like, okay, apparently Baker Mayfield can beat the Raiders with like next to no practice. And part of the things that did help is that like the offense was similar to stuff that he had run in the past, especially when it came to like the blocking schemes. But still, yeah, that was a really fun game for the Rams.
I never root for the Rams, but that game, I remember I was going, no way. It was like the last drive, right? It was like a last second
drive, yeah.
a walk off, and I was like, that was awesome, because you never see stuff like that happen. You expect him to go in and suck, right?
Totally.
If they throw him in.
And no one would have blamed him if he would have sucked. By
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he was there. What did you say? 48 hours?
Less than that, yeah.
Yes, Niners lost some depth. Jimmy Ward, Alshire, McGlinchey, signed Darnold, and the two young quarterbacks experience and still maybe injury prone. Do you think the Niners will take a step back this season? I don't think so at all, honestly.
So, Rudy, my one problem with that question is I do think, like, I actually think Trey Lance and Brock Purdy are experienced now.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, maybe not as much. He's still been banged up most of his career. But, like, Brock Purdy took a team to the NFC Championship game, and like there's a lot of veteran quarterbacks that have never made it close to that. So I think they're experienced, not a lot of experience, but a little bit. But yeah, like the Niners are definitely an interesting team. With losing their defensive coordinator to the Texans, D'Amico Ryans, does their defense keep up? That's a valid question. I think they still have a lot of talent as long as they have Bosa and. It's slipping me. They just signed Hargrave, right?
They're scary, dude.
That's a scary like defensive line. So we'll see. We'll see.
You have to be in the same boat as me. I mean, when you go to play them and you see that front seven, you're like, oh my God, dude, how did they do this? I was talking to some 49ers fans on Friday night, and I just told them how jealous I was of how they built their team to where they didn't even need a quarterback, to make it to the NFC Championship game.
Well, I just think they're going to have like 5 quarterbacks now. Like pretty much any veteran quarterback that doesn't get signed by another team, if the Niners can get them cheap, they're like, come here. We want all of the insurance policy at the quarterback position possible.
Well, that game, the end of that game was just so sad to watch. Obviously I was rooting against the 49ers.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to be a good game, and then just to see me, I mean, he couldn't throw it 5 yards down the field. It just sucked. You're like,
it was awkward. Yeah. And like when the Niners are just running like reverse after reverse, and you're just like,
yeah, and they're running the ball in a clearly. How much were they down? Like 3 scores or something in the fourth quarter, and they're running the ball. I'm like, dude, that guy's arm has to be really messed up.
Yeah,
and it was. I mean, he needs surgery. But yeah, no, sorry, got off topic for a minute there.
Cool.
But getting to if we could get Jalen Carter or Will Anderson, and we just got this guy Draymond Jones from Denver. He actually was 11th in the league in pass rush win rate until he got hurt, which was week 14. And he had 7 sacks, 33 hurries, and 45 total pressures. I guess he's not great against the run, but he kind of fits more. We transitioned more to a 3-4 instead of a 4-3 now. So he kind of fits 3-4 D end.
Okay, cool.
I mean, he can play inside and outside.
And the reality is, like, as long as the Seahawks young players can continue to develop, they could be a very scary team for the next couple of years, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping for.
No. And so I'm hoping that the Rams take a little bit of a page out of your playbook there and get young and cheaper on defense, but can develop and be a scary defense for sure.
I mean, that run game though killed us. You guys ran all over us. You saw that.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's hard to stop anything when you can't stop the run. When you're just getting 5 yards, 5 yards, 5 yards, everything starts with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no. Did the Hawks re-sign Ryan Neal? I hope we re-sign Ryan Neal. He was the best safety on the team last year. I don't know. Do you watch much? Do you know Ryan Neal?
Oh yeah. I'd be okay if they don't re-sign him. The Rams are looking for safety help. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, he was a total, like, nobody really expected much from him, right? And Jamal Adams goes out week 1. Week 2, we started a guy named Josh Jones. He's actually a free agent too, and he didn't do much. But then Ryan Neal stepped in, and I mean, he killed it all season. Definitely. I mean, we didn't play like Pro Bowl level, all pro level, but I mean, for what he was getting paid, which I'm pretty sure was just the league minimum, works out, right?
Well, and something I've noticed that like a lot of Rams players will go to either the Seahawks or the Niners or the Cardinals, but like we never get any of your guys' players.
You guys got Bobby for one season?
Okay, what? Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, we got Bobby for one season here, which is cool, and he was great. But that's just something like I remember when Gerald Everett went to you guys, I was shocked. I was like, because he was the first draft pick ever by Sean McVay.
Oh yeah, I thought he came from the Chargers, but he went to the Chargers. That's right.
No, he was drafted by the Rams, and then he was on the Seahawks. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like very many of our players go to you, actually. Come to think of it, I can't really think of any. I mean, other than Bobby, obviously. So,
well, and two of it, the Rams have had a lot of homegrown talent, and
which even, is what you want.
Totally, yeah. And everyone would always accuse them of trading for all their players, where really they traded for a few star players, but most of their they actually in their Super Bowl run last year, they actually had the most drafted players on their team than any team in the playoffs.
That's crazy. I had no idea about that because the mercenaries stand out. The Von Miller and OBJ.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of ring chasers like that. Somebody that hops on a great team just to win a championship, because players do that in the NBA all the time. You're like, God dang it, dude. I don't want the NFL to become that. I want teams to build.
I don't mind it for it, as weird as it sounds. I don't mind it for specific I didn't mind it in OBJ's point of view because we actually really needed a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Right? Where he was clearly the best on the market and it made sense. But if we had a really good wide receiving core, which we did, but just it was banged up. I don't know. To me it is situational, but I understand your point.
Yeah, just the whole mercenary thing. I don't know why. I just get a weird feeling, especially if OBJ would have signed with the Eagles last year or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the Chiefs on he was talking about coming in week 17 or something to a team.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's not cool at all.
Totally right. Or he still technically could have signed the week of a Super Bowl to a team.
Yeah, and that would have made me so mad. It's like, dude, you really want to ring that bad? Yeah. I respect the guys that stay on teams like Aaron Donald, for example, with you guys. I mean, he was on that team forever when they sucked. I mean, and then to, make it to the top. I mean, I thought it was awesome for him.
It's crazy that I don't know, Aaron Donald has been such a pleasure for to watch. And I remember when we drafted him being okay, solid, okay, this could be a cool draft pick. And then immediately his rookie year, you're this guy's a monster, right?
Yeah, he's different. He's a man amongst boys.
He is undersized, but just the way he gains leverage on linemen, and you see him just plow 3 linemen out of his way, and you're just he's very strong, but people probably don't give enough credit to his technique. There's very few defensive tackles that have as good of a swim move as like, you know, kind of the brush off, like swipe way. Like his hands are just like, like the hand techniques of a lineman. I've never seen anyone have better hands than Aaron Donald.
Well, we'd always double team him, and you know what was crazy? So when we played you guys back in the day, like 2-3 years ago, we'd always double team him, triple team him, and then that Robert Quinn would come through, and I thought he was the best player on the Rams when we played you guys, because I was like, oh my god, how is this guy not you know, first team All Pro? But it's because Donald takes so much of that attention, right?
See, it's frustrating to hear you talk about that, because I remember like those years of like Robert Quinn, Chris Long, Aaron Donald, James Laurinaitis, where like we had some pretty amazing defenders, but we could not get an offense to put points on the board to save our lives. Like, and just like the biggest criticism of Jeff Fisher is he never he always was so hands off on the offense, and he just couldn't find a defensive coordinator. Like, actually, what are your feelings on Brian Schottenheimer? I'm curious.
On Shotty?
Yeah.
Is he with you guys?
No, he was under the Jeff Fisher era.
Okay. I don't know. He was just a guy, right?
Okay, he was terrible with the Rams. And I remember when the Seahawks got him, I was like, oh, good luck. Like,
was he this way with you guys? Because everybody thinks it's Pete, right? But maybe it's not. Was it first down run, second down run, third down pass? Because that's how it was every drive with us.
Every drive, no. And often it would be even like if he did somehow throw it on like first down, and then like it would be just like a screen pass that essentially is a run play to it.
Yeah, and those screens never work. At least for the Seahawks, they don't work. The Niners can do it all day, and I don't understand it. Probably because they have, you know, great offensive linemen. But yeah, Schottenheimer was weird. So we played the Cowboys in the playoffs that year in 2018, or maybe it was 18, and we just ran the ball, and it's great when you have the personnel to run the ball. But when you don't have the personnel to run the ball, you can't be running it first, second, and third down.
It's so infuriating, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I'm hoping that if we get Jalen Carter, I hope he can be the next Aaron Donald.
Okay, big statement.
That's what I'm really hoping for. And then we have the 20th overall pick too, and I know everybody would think it's stupid because we got Walker. You know, Ken Walker. You watched him last year. I mean, he's a great running back. Young.
He got injured towards the end of the year too, right?
He got banged up. Yeah, I think he didn't play the game against you guys in LA, but he played the last game.
Right.
But yeah, he didn't even start the season. The first couple games he was banged up. But I'd like to get one of those. I'd like Bijan Robinson at number 20. I like Jamar Gibbs, early second round. What do you think about those guys?
I'm when it comes to like running backs, I'm always a fan of like drafting later. The Rams have drafted a running back every year in the Sean McVay era, so I firmly expect him to draft one this year. And yeah, I'm like my mock draft. Yeah, Exotic says he knows what's up. Yeah,
exactly. I know, it's just that they like to run that wildcat, the Seahawks do. And if you could imagine, you know, Bijan Robinson with Kenneth Walker back there, that'd be exactly. I mean, if he's worth it. I mean, if has the talent that everybody says he does, you know, he's worth taking a shot, especially if he's there early in the second round, which I don't think he will be. But
totally.
Can I ask what draft picks you guys both have, if you don't mind? What do you guys have?
We have a lot. We have 11. Let me just double check, because I know we got the comp picks awarded to us. I have it here.
And that was for either players signing elsewhere and coaches getting hired elsewhere.
Yeah. So we have the 36 overall pick in round 2. And then we have 2 third-round picks. Oh, sorry. I'm being crazy. Can't get in.
You got one from Miami.
Yeah, yes. So we got the I think the 77th overall pick from Miami, which I think was originally, I think it was maybe originally the Patriots pick.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Devontae Parker trade, I think, or something. I don't know. But anyway, so the Rams have the 77th pick, and then they'll also have their like original 3rd round pick, and then we have a 4th round pick. Oh no, we traded their 4th round pick to the Patriots. Don't have that. Round 5 is big for us. We have 3 round 5 picks, and they're all comp picks.
So those are all at the very end of the round, right? The comp picks are.
Yeah.
So you'd like to package a lot of these together, right, and move up and probably.
Yeah, essentially. Probably one of our most random picks this year is 2 years ago, the Rams signed an undrafted punter named Corey Bojorquez, and
never heard of him. Sorry.
No, not many people have, but this is again 2 years ago. We traded him to the Packers for a 6th round pick, and that's this year. So,
really?
Yeah, we have 3 6th round picks, and one of those is the Packers because of Corey Bojorquez, and he only played 1 year for the Packers, and I don't think he had another job after that.
So I guess he turned FM picks into FM punters that year.
Yeah, I guess. So we have 3 5th rounds, 3 6th rounds, and then 3 7th round picks.
Yeah, that's a lot, especially towards the later rounds. I mean, if you can hit on it, like, well, I mean, we've hit a bunch in the later rounds, almost way more than we have early in the rounds. We have, but this year is so exciting because we never have this kind of draft capital. I mean, we have the 5th overall pick, the 20th overall pick, the 37th, and the 52nd. That's just in the first 2 rounds.
Well, like something, and again, I don't say this to talk shade or anything like that, but I do think that we have seen teams have high draft capital in the past, and if they don't hit on them, that's the type of thing that like causes GMs to lose their jobs, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so much like I realize your guys is so fresh since you won the Super Bowl, but I don't think in the next 10 years they'd even think about firing who's Les Snead, right? Les Snead and Sean McVay just because they brought a championship to the city. I mean, it'd have to get pretty bad.
Yeah, no, it would be a lot. And like people forget Les Snead, he's been the Rams GM for like since 2012. He got hired the same year Jeff Fisher did. And when Fisher got
there before that, huh?
Yeah. So when Jeff Fisher got fired, a lot of people wanted Les Snead to get fired too, but they didn't fire him, and Les Snead has done a good job as a GM for the most part. Do you think that the guys will trade anyone on draft? I don't know about players. I've heard rumors of and again, this is all rumors. You can't put, especially this time of year, you can't put a lot of stock in it. I've heard about Tyler Higbee maybe being someone on the trade block. I've heard about Allen Robinson is on the trade block for all we know. So we could potentially get even more draft capital, and if you think about it, like, are the Rams actually going to draft 12 players? I don't know. So I think we could see the Rams move up at some point to get someone.
What do you think Allen Robinson's worth?
Honestly, like the Rams have said they're willing to pay like part of his like salary to accommodate the trade. I think a team could get him for cheap, like
a 7th round pick, as long as they take their salary, right?
Yeah,
because that's kind of what I was thinking.
Honestly, and this sucks because I really wanted the Allen Robinson signing to work out for the Rams, but like I think if a team came and was like, we'll give you a conditional 6th or 7th round pick in next year's draft, I think the Rams would do it, right?
Just to get rid of his salary, right?
Yeah, and I think they want to get some new weapons. I don't think he had the chemistry. Do the Seahawks want Allen Robinson? Give me those.
I don't think so. Not that price tag. I don't know how much he's making, but I know it's probably more than they want to pay him.
Yeah, and it's tough for Allen Robinson because he is a class act, and like in the locker room, everyone loves him. Like he's a good teammate. But like he had a pretty down year with the Bears, and then he had a down year with us, and then now he's also coming off injury this year. So unfortunately I don't think a lot of teams are interested now.
And he's about 30 now, right? Too. Correct.
I think he's 30. Yeah. The one thing I could see is I think if you're the Texans or the Panthers and you want a veteran present, now the Texans signed Robert Woods, so maybe they're kind of out on this. But like,
I think the Panthers. You're right. The Panthers would make sense.
No, I think
have nobody.
And the Panthers totally could like offer like a low pick next year or something like that. And to have like a veteran wide receiver to help your young quarterback out, I think Allen Robinson would be he'd be great in that role.
Yeah. Sorry. The Seahawks are going to pick up a lot of studs. It's going to be a little concern for the rest of the NFC. Yeah, I think so.
They got the potential for sure. Yeah.
I think so too. But yeah, I mean that's about it for today, don't you think? Or
yeah, man. Well, I can't believe we've been going for an hour. This has been a lot of fun. It flies.
Yeah. But the Seahawks Gino goes down, you'll just have a rookie. No, I don't think the Seahawks would consider picking up Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan is low-key like one of the underrated stories this offseason that no one's talking about. Is like, does he want to keep starting? Is he content being a backup? Does he want to retire? I don't know.
I think at least this is just me. I'm just assuming he's done, but yeah, I could be wrong.
I have not heard anything about Matt Ryan. Like I haven't heard he wanted to trade. I haven't heard he's coming back to the Colts. I haven't heard if he's retiring. I like literally heard nothing about this man.
Yeah, you are correct. No, I think we're probably gonna sign Drew Lock back again to be a backup if he wants to. I could also see him going to Tampa Bay because that's where our quarterback coach went. He's their new offensive coordinator.
Oh, cool.
So many quarterbacks went down. It's an idea. Yeah, I think just about anybody.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah.
I think they should allow every team to carry at least 3 quarterbacks into every game. Just maybe add a 54th roster spot or something. That'll allow them.
Designated a quarterback. Yeah.
Especially because after that NFC Championship game, I just don't want to see anything like that again. I mean, it was funny when it happened to the Broncos with COVID because they kind of punished them for nobody, taking the precaution.
Well, when Kendall Hilton, yeah.
Yeah, well, it was funny because it was a regular season meaningless game, right? I mean, the Broncos weren't going to do anything anyways. Okay. But I mean, if that was the Chiefs, they'd be like, "Oh no, we're not going to do that."
Right.
Kyle. Make him 4th string. Nobody else wants
it. Yeah. Just the Niners just pick up, Darnold, Matt Ryan.
That's what I was going to say. I saw they signed
Jacoby Brissett. Just they all go to the Niners.
I think Andy Dalton went somewhere today, right? Andy Dalton went to Carolina today.
Interesting. That's, what? Good pickup. Carolina's making some smart moves for that 1st overall pick.
I texted my friends in a group chat. I go, well, look, Carolina finally got their quarterback of the future. So I go, the Panthers are going to trade all the way up to number 1 and trade and draft the tight end out of Notre Dame that everybody's talking about. I'm just a smart ass all the time. Oh, but anyways, yeah, I'd love to have you on again if you ever want to come back on. I'd be more than willing to have you on if you want. So
yeah, no, and I'll go get you over on my channel. It's been a great collab, and thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Yeah, like and subscribe. I always forget to say that, but
you get in the habit of it. No worries, man.
But yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on, man.
For sure.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
Bye.